Cool. So this is first episode of the, I don't really know what to call them. We call them like the Apotheo interviews, just with some coaches who are fans and who use Apotheo software. And today I am joined with Ryall Graber. Is that how I say it? Is that right?
Yeah. Ryall Graber, you got it.
From all the way from sunny Cancun at the moment, making me
transplant Canadian in Mexico. Didn't want the cold.
Thank you so much for giving me your time today to talk on all things Apotheo, but also around you. So I had a little bit of a look at what you do, and you from the offset, I know you're extremely busy. It's what it looks like as well. So in terms of what you have going on from a business point of view, you know, you're running retreats, coaching online, different programs, your mum, like all of this stuff, and you're trying to fit it all into what you do. So like I say, thank you for joining me. Is there anything I need to add into that kind of intro to explain who you are?
Thanks, Dan. No, thanks for having me. No, you nailed it. Boss mama, entrepreneur, just retired IFBB pro athlete. I competed for over a decade, 45 professional competitions, and you got it. Trying to really balance a busy career with now being I have a 6-month-old baby. So being a new mama, and Apotheo has been a huge part of helping me do that.
So cool. Yeah. And maybe just give people a little bit of an insight into how you got into doing what you're doing. How did you get into fitness?
Well, I guess, yeah, signed up for a competition. Literally, I was like always interested in I did gymnastics as a kid, and it was like, oh, this year I'm gonna do a fitness challenge. It was 2006. I'm like, I'm gonna do a fitness challenge, and I wasn't even working. I was practicing dentistry. I wasn't working in the fitness industry at all at that time, and I signed up for fitness competition. I hired coaches. I believe to be the best, you have to invest, and I've always had that mindset. So I literally built my team, and I started competing, and I kept winning and winning and winning. And at the end of that year, I had my IFBB professional status. So it's like, wow. So that ignited this huge spark in me. And I realized my passion was not in working in people's mouths, but I had a greater purpose to make an impact, and I wanted to start helping people achieve their goals like I had, so fast forward 15 years, are we like later? And here I am, with a 6-figure online coaching business that's allowed me to make the impact that I know I was born to make.
Yeah, that's cool. And there's so many people would resonate with how they got into like doing what they do from a coaching point of view through that journey, I feel. Were you interested in fitness before that, and training and before?
Totally. I always like worked out. I always, I had done a couple half marathons. I was always up for like physical challenges and setting goals. But I always had my career, and then I had my interests, which was like my hobbies, which was always learning about nutrition and exercise, and then setting a goal and going to achieve it. So I always, like, every year there was always a couple of performance goals that I would set for myself. But I always had that separate. I think it's I don't know how it is over in the UK, but in Canada, US, it's very much, what are you going to do when you graduate from high school? And it's like, you should have a career, and then those are your hobbies, and this is how you earn an income. So fusing the two together, it's like, it's been the greatest. I'm so grateful. That's what I wake up for every day, that I like fly out of bed and I'm like, bam, and I know a lot of coaches listening are going to resonate with that. I feel that this is a very passionate, purpose-filled career. No one goes into online coaching I feel, for the wrong reasons. I feel like you have a story and you're really passionate and you want to share it.
Yeah, agree.
And help other people, right?
Of course, yeah. And I totally agree, because over here, like you just said, it is similar in terms of you're expected to go through this certain journey. Like you go to school, then you get your grades, then you go here, and then you go and work for someone, and it's like very much this is what you must do. And then it's never really a lot talked about entrepreneurship and working for yourself and building your own business. And I feel that that's great if like you found something that you're super passionate about, that then you can turn into something that is your business and your life as well, which is really cool. Yeah, awesome.
Totally. Yeah, and the secret sauce there is, having your business set up where um you're working less for it. Sorry, you're working less on your business and more for your business, where you have that opportunity to really create and do the fun stuff for your business and not so much feel like you're hustling. Where you feel like it's that constant like struggle. And I mean, that was my story when I started up my business. Was everything was completely overwhelming and disorganized. And anyone who got into coaching, online coaching over a decade ago, there were no software systems in place that like automation, amen to for Apotheo here, because where, I'm doing client check-ins with documents and I'm invoicing wherever my clients were in the world. I'm invoicing with, some of them are PayPal, some of them are Zelle, some of them, wire transfers. Like it was a complete nightmare on the back end of my business, and then you're not really able to make the impact you can make, because there's too much of that going on where you have to put your energy into that. So it's powerful when now, in the industry, that there's software like Apotheo out there, that it's just a total game changer for an energy standpoint, where you're able to save so much time, effectively serve your clients, and scale. Like that's right, where you can scale your business because you're not hustling anymore. So
Exactly. Yeah. So what is it you use within your business in terms of what do you offer? What kind of products, services do you provide?
Yes, so online coaching is like sort of that's definitely one of my main revenue streams, my big revenue stream. So one-on-one online coaching. I only work with exclusively 15 clients at once, and it's a minimum 3-month sign up. So it's focused on lifestyle change. And then I also coach professional athletes as well. So there's that. And then I have digital products and services. And then I also have my wellness retreats, which is globally an opportunity to come in and work in a small group environment with me for 4 days to like level up. And I have a lot of clients come in, and a lot of followers come in, and they continue to come to different locations and actually work in person. So all of that is sort of run off my website. And then Apotheo is the software platform that I use directly to coach my clients.
Cool. Yeah, I saw some of the retreat stuff. I think because you remember you mentioned it before in the email, and I thought I'd have a look. And yeah, it looks it looks incredible in terms of, well, obviously where it is and then what you go through. So yeah, and really like tempting. I need to, if we're allowed to ever leave this country again.
Right. Oh my gosh, I know. So the retreats have been, there was some great, exciting stuff that was set to launch last year. Jordan, Bali, and then all of that got put on hold. It was literally all planned, but now with the pandemic, it's just not possible. But I feel like late 2021, early 22, vaccines are rolled out and people will be traveling again. And that's where, I mean, it's so exciting because you can't have all your eggs in one basket, right? So actually, when that aspect of my business blew up, and maybe that resonates with some of you coaches that are listening, like if you were really focused on training people in person, and then there's no more in person, or people aren't traveling, wow, right, what are you going to do? And it creates that opportunity. This is where you can really scale your business. And what I did when I lost that revenue stream last year, I actually created a 6-week online fitness business coaching program. So where I mentor 10 coaches at a time, through literally setting up from the ground up how to set up an online business, streamline, and then how to scale. So it was so powerful for me to be able to not just help people achieve like fitness performance or like fat loss goals, but to actually help coaches like learn from, I made good dozens of mistakes, literally, like setting up my business. There's so many things I've learned on my journey, and also working with some very, very, very powerful, inspiring business coaches outside of the industry, that have helped me really scale my business to levels I would have never imagined. And that's where, when you have your online business set up, like, and it's generating that revenue, you can look at scale, 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 scale. How can I scale? Right. So I feel like the pandemic was an exciting opportunity to really pivot instead of panic and look at what your audience needs. What does your audience need and how can you serve your audience better?
Yeah, massively agree. There was that moment I think that everyone had to like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like, what's going to happen here? And then it, like you just said, you have to then react to that. And okay, cool, I can't do this anymore, but this is what I'm going to do instead. And obviously really successful as well. How does Apotheo play into your life? How does it make your life better?
Oh my God. I actually I don't even have the words to explain my love for Apotheo, because and I know you use Apotheo as well, but like, I can't tell you, legit game changer, okay, for my business. I have a nutrition degree, and as well as performance training. I specialize in hormone nutrition therapy as well. So a lot of the work I do is nutrition, and then my clients either have trainers or I custom design training programs for them. So when I was looking at platforms to choose, Apotheo was like the perfect one for me because of the nutritional aspect of it. Also, Adam, who founded Apotheo, we jumped on a call, and I'm like, he's just too good to be true, in the sense of the support he was prepared to offer me. That was so many years ago, 5-6 years ago. And when it started up, and he's continued to provide like that level of support to me whenever there's anything that I need. Of course, when you get started with anything new, you need a little more hand-holding than you are going to when you're like 5 years into using something. So I chose Apotheo, and it's basically automated my life, like everything for me as a coach, right, that I do. All my systems are automated. It's also given me that platform to show my clients like a really high level of professionalism, where it's not emails and documents, and like payment is automated. The portal, all the communication, right? You can automate as much as you want. You can customize all your forms and templates. My logo is on there. It looks like literally it's my app, it's my software. So this is totally what I was looking for. And the small fee that you pay monthly per client, to me, is like, it's completely worth it, because you're not doing anything. You're literally not doing anything on the back end when it comes to, collecting your payments, collecting your check-ins, your data. It's all stored in one place, instead of, again, right? I know this is resonating with you because you've been there as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's one of those things. It's weird to have that kind of feeling towards the software where you're like, actually, this is like amazing in terms of what it can do. And I massively agree with all those points in terms of like, especially something that used to come up previously with other clients when I would talk about Apotheo was always the price point per client, and I'd always argue back that you can build that into the price point of what you charge a client, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Why would it matter? But yeah, I'm interested. Have you ever had any feedback from clients around how they find using Apotheo and what they think of it?
Yes. Amazing that when I transitioned those clients way back when onto Apotheo, the feedback was phenomenal right out of right out of the gate. Of course, there was like that hand holding then I had to give to my clients. So if you're that coach that's considering making this move and it's stressing you out to do it, it's going to take you 2 to 3 weeks of your time. I don't know, depending on the number of clients you're transferring over. But once you're set up, like it's totally worth it. And your clients love it. And then remember, your new clients coming on, it's all automated. So my clients, the feedback I've had, like I've never considered changing because of it's simple to use and it's professional. And they like the clients have all their data in one place. So some clients, are they want to see data, and other clients don't really care as much, but the clients that want the data, right? They can connect their Fitbits, like you've got as much data in there as you want. And I love to see over a long period of time, right? I like to look at, the long haul with the fat loss charts or whatever we're trying to achieve, sleep. Like I love all of that as well. And the photo tracking, right? Where I can see all my photos are in one place. And so can the client. Incredibly valuable to go, did you look at your photos from 6 months ago? Like go back into your profile and look at those photos, and they're right there in front of them.
Definitely agree. How did you find, so moving into using something like Apotheo, did it have a positive impact with things like client sort of adherence to stuff and reporting back to you? Did you find that?
Well, I've always worked with a small team. Like when I got onto Apotheo, I had 92 online clients and I scaled my business down, but I tripled my prices. So that was the year I toured with Schwarzenegger on the Arnold Worldwide Tour as a professional athlete. And I had to make this big decision. So that was like powerful because, I was able to really do that and keep things flowing, right? That was all set up and running for me. So my clients that don't check in with me, I kind of have a 2 strike you're out policy. If you're not checking in with me, you know what, I'm going to give your money back because, and I always speak to my clients. I have a 3-step application process. Remember, I've been doing this for so many years. My time is valuable and I don't want to waste my time. And also my clients' results their wins are my wins. So if someone's not performing, you know what, maybe this just isn't the right time for you. So I've always had, it's pretty much, 99% check-in rate. However, it's made it easier, Dan. There's no forms. Like I literally used to have a form they would have to go and fill out. And some of them would like write it in and scan it. And then like old school, right? This was like, remember back to when like 15 years ago, it's hard for us to remember, or maybe I'm totally aging myself here in the 40 whatever club, but remember when there was none of this out there, nobody was doing this. So it's made it so much like simpler. There's no reason if you're traveling, right? If you're on a plane, there's an app. You can still check in. Yeah, there's no excuses to miss a check-in.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And it's interesting, obviously talking with you before this, speaking with other coaches and their approaches to different things. And I've had a few people I've spoken to in the past around what life was like before these apps and softwares came in. And it is interesting to think that we used to kind of make do with like email and then spreadsheets came in, and then because I used spreadsheets before Apotheo, and then it was almost like it just took all the stress away, and I was like, this is really how it should be. So yeah, it's good.
Oh my God, totally. I did as well. I had a spreadsheet, and then I also had like a Word document with a chart. Like it was just a disaster. And I mean, that's the greatest thing I think for coaches listening, you need to look at with your business. If you're like stuck, and you're like hovering, like, maybe you're like generating 50 to 75,000 and you just can't get past that and you've been stuck there. This is the tool you need to create that time, in your life where you can do other things and you can scale, whether that means taking on more clients or that means starting to look at other revenue streams because you have more time, and you're still able to offer that customized service to your clients. You're not losing anything personalized. If anything, you're actually giving them more. You can set up automated check-ins, automated messages, and then you can also personally communicate with your client. So it's just such a win-win on all, on all levels, where, like I said before, I think it came out, wrong. You want, as an entrepreneur, you want to get to where you're working more on your business and less for your business. So when you're working for your business, right, it's just a constant hustle. It's like, and you're not doing anything really fully. You're working on your business. The business is running, right? What can you do to actually, that's the fun stuff, is to be working on your business and generating more revenue, helping more people.
Yeah, because I'd love to get your thoughts on, because I think I also appreciate that you all have the same ideas around this as me in terms of like outsourcing stuff. So if you don't enjoy doing something, like, then get someone else to do it. And I know you touched on it earlier around having access to different mentors and business mentors. So I guess there's two questions there in terms of things that your opinions on outsourcing, and also how much you value having someone else, like, above you in terms of like a mentor to help. That would be quite, yeah.
I'm all about, like I said, to be the best, you have to invest, so I'll hit on that question first. If you are really passionate about like leveling up, like in your life, in all aspects, and your business, that's where it's at now, versus like going to school. Like, people used to go to school back in the day. Now we can just hire people that have been where we want to go. So that's super exciting. And the pandemic hasn't impacted that in any way. So I've been really fortunate to work with some incredible business coaches who are not in the fitness industry. I went out to Dubai and I spent 2 weeks like on a one-on-one like business building boot camp with a highly sought after entrepreneur business coach out there. And it just like ignited my life, because you start to think, we think fitness bubble. So we get in this bubble, like, you need to think huge. You need to get outside of the fitness space to generate fresh ideas. And a business coach is exciting too, because they always see potential in you that you are not going to see in yourself. So when they see things, have you thought of this? Have you thought of this? And they just generate fresh ideas in places you've never seen. I think it's like the ultimate, it's so exciting, because it's also personal growth, right? So it's an opportunity for you to just like level up in general, but you're working on your business. It's so rewarding.
Yeah.
So I'm all for, like, I don't think in the last 5 years I've ever not had a business mentor. Like, there's always been someone I've been working with to help me grow there.
Yeah.
And your other question was on
just on like outsourcing stuff that you don't want to particularly do in the business.
Totally.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way as well. When I started, I was afraid to outsource anything. I thought I had to do it all myself, and there was no Apotheo. So I'm like doing all the onboarding of clients like manually, and all the call, like everything, the billing, all of that. So no, what I learned from my failures was anything you aren't good at doing, number one, or number two, you don't enjoy doing, outsource. Yeah. So start building your outsourcing team of people that you trust and that deliver, and that almost over deliver to you as well. And I like to have kind of 2 people for each aspect of my business that I outsource. So if something happens with one of them, you have someone else to reach out to. So I outsource, or I have outsourced in the past, newsletter content, like writing. I've outsourced professional photography and videography all the time. I have a team that I work with here in Cancun. I've outsourced a lot of, like, I had a virtual PA for many years while I was building my business, just to manage influx of clients and things like that. But graphics, so I know how to use Canva. I can do it. Do I want to do it? No, because if I'm spending 2 hours doing graphics, I can be spending 2 hours writing programs, and I can be helping clients, and I can be making a hell of a lot more money. So if there's things that are just killing you, like you want to like stab your eye out with a fork, it's easy, guys and girls, just stop doing it, outsource it, and watch when you spend that money, you invest that money in having someone else do that work, how much more productive and how much happier you're going to be.
Yeah, agree. Massively, 100% agree with that. And I think similar to you, it took me ages because I was like, no, I can do this. I need to remain in control of like this element. And then you just do your head in with like trying to work stuff out and get it to feel right. Where someone else could do it in, I don't know, 5 minutes. It just takes you like 3 hours. Just forget it. Oh God. What's been over
Totally.
the time of you doing your business? What's been like some of the big problems that you've had to maybe overcome, if you know any, apart from the obvious one, maybe like that pandemic?
Sorry, it just was dragging a bit there. Could you repeat that, Dan?
I was just saying, over the years of you being involved with your business, have you had to overcome many like big problems and throughout that time?
Oh, with my business specifically?
Yeah.
I think it's just the biggest thing. I mean, was always like, this shouldn't be so hard. And I'm all about working hard and leaning into hard because, and I welcome hard. I know that growth comes on the other side of hard, but I literally worked like I worked like 60 hours a week. Like, plus I was training for professional competitions and competing globally and like living my life at 5% body fat. So, like it's the struggle. Like, this is why I love coaching now fitness professionals on business coaching, because there's no reason why it should have to be that way in 2021. Like it doesn't have to be that way. And I know you're all comfortable and you're like in your place and you're like, but you literally have to take that step to grow your business, because if you don't, you're going to be stuck. You're constantly going to be stuck. And I'm telling you, this is that Mac Daddy tool that you need as a coach to really scale your business. It's like, you've just got to do it. You've got to take that step and do it.
Amazing. That's good. So I guess I'll kind of like one final question really on, if there is, and it's quite a big question, if there's like one thing that you were going to tell someone who's coming into the industry, someone new, brand new into it, what's that one thing that you'd say, like, do this, like focus on this? Or
oh my God, one thing. Okay, one thing. So this is a thing, again, I didn't get micro clear on when I started, and that when I now coach other coaches on how to either set up or streamline, if they have an existing online business, how do I streamline and then scale, is knowing your ICA, so your ideal client avatar. I don't think, I would say 10% of coaches are doing this. And it is so important, Dan. If you know your ICA, who is your perfect client, everything you do speaks to that perfect client. So your marketing, the transformations that you share, your language, all your social media, so I feel that is something every coach should go back to at least annually. And if you've never done that really like deep dive into knowing who is my ideal client, because if you're talking to everybody out there, you're talking to no one. Nobody's listening. Get super clear on your client, like micro clear, like what are your clients' ideal client's fears, right? What kind of music does your ideal client listen to? What, like, these are types of things. What clothing do they wear? Like literally, like, and one of my modules in my business course is actually all on this, is who is your ICA? And if you don't know, figuring that out. Because once you get really clear on who your perfect client is, oh my God, they just start coming to you. And that's not even about like building a successful business from a financial standpoint. That's about building a purpose-filled business. That's about having literally your entire team of clients that is like the perfect client for you. Because I'm sure we've all had those clients that you're like, oh my God, I just want this client to, like, I got to divorce this client. But guess what? You didn't do your work. You didn't do your work on the back end. So when you have those discovery calls before you're going to onboard a client, you can't just take everyone. And that's a really valuable lesson that I've learned that has actually like been so rewarding for me, because every single client that I take at one time is like my perfect fit client, and I'm a perfect fit for them, and they're performing. They're getting results.
Yeah, 100%. That is just, this a big thing. And you're right, in terms of coaches maybe don't get that clear enough, and then struggle from attracting clients. But then also, like you just said, you want to build a business that you enjoy being a part of. And if you don't enjoy working with the clients, then what's the point in that? So yeah, amazing. It's good.
It's so true. It's so important to do that work. But I speak from like the total failure on that. I like never did that. I just took everyone in the beginning. I'm like, yeah, like, here you go. Here's the sign up form. And then it creates a nightmare for you, because some people are like, well, I want recipes for every meal. That's what I was expecting. It's like, oh, well, I gave you a book of recipes, and I'm going to teach you how to incorporate these recipes into, your dietary lifestyle. But see, it's like, if you properly do these discovery calls and you know who your perfect client is, and you ask those hard questions, right? It's so valuable for you on every way, because it's not just about the money. You learn quickly. Like, I've given clients back money many times. Once I made that transition, I was like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. I've taken on the wrong client. And you learn, right? I'd rather not have this money and not have this client in my life.
Yeah.
So be prepared to, like, like you said, you when you speak and you attract those clients, maybe those clients aren't pouring out immediately to you, but guess what? They're watching you, and they're like, oh, I wonder what Dan's talking about today, because Dan's adding value to my life. And when that client's ready to sign up and actually invest in themselves, they're going to sign up with Dan, because you're speaking to them every day. So it's a great way to get your niche audience and build a really rewarding business.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. Cool. Where can people find out more about you? Where should they go?
No, I would love, drop me a note, say hello. Instagram is Ryall Fitness. Same with Facebook. Those are my handlebars, RYALL Fitness, and website ryallfitness.com.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for your time, Ryall. And I hope everyone who watches this or listens to it there's a ton of value there, like a huge amount, not just from Apotheo, but just in your general coaching and your attitude to how you built your business. And like I've learned loads even from this conversation. So yeah, I'm sure people will get loads from that. So thank you.
No, thank you for having me. If I can do this, like, if I can scale my business like this, anyone can do this, like, I would have never dreamt I would be able to scale my business to the level it's at, like consistent 10K months, consistent. I've had 40K months. Like, I'm telling you, this is totally possible. Like, if I can do this, you can do this too. So it's just going back to the drawing board, I think, and looking at your energy and where you're choosing to invest it, what you can outsource. I think that was a great question. Outsource, get clear on your ICA so that you've got more time to really scale your business. So, and Apotheo, it's game changer.
Yeah, we can't forget that. So awesome. Thank you. I will see if I can stop this.